So what you see happening to the Africans today is gene pool aging. They're never gonna rule this place again. They're like an old man fighting with young boys. The longer they stay here, the worse it's gonna get for them. They gave them pointers, which were, even though those pointers were, they were told in the wrong way to confuse them, but there will come a time when one is going to open the seals and explain it to them so they understand what to do. And they told you that when you see the man of sin come in the temple and play the role of God, know that that's a sign that your blood has started to crawl past the threshold of being useful. You know how when you start aging and you 50, you can still do some things. You 60, yeah, you can still, you can still do some things. You got a six pack, whatever. You 70, you might still, you know what I mean? Once you hit 90, I don't give a fuck how super duper you is. That shit gonna take over you. Once you hit 100, 110, it don't matter how you fast to work out, whatever. You're never gonna reverse that. You feeble, you might fuck around, shit your pants. You're acting like a child. You see now, your brain, everything is shutting down. That shit is not exclusive to individuals. It happens to entire races also. That's what that text means. He says, so, but because the aging over the billions of years that you've been here, all your faculties are diminishing over the eons. When you get to that point where you've just aged so bad, right? You're going to notice a strange human appear from nowhere. You're not going to see a sign of that person in the ancient world. When you dig up temples and shit, you're not going to see a sign of that person. But that person is going to be God to you. It's going to be your God. What that means is that everything about this physical world is going to be under the control of that being. If they want, they could block out they play God, literally. They make people. They clone people and make people, put them in front of you and make them do shit. They could take away all the seeds and you have to buy food from them. That's there already. They could shut down the whole world where you don't get money and you can't eat and you starve to death. If a country don't do what the fuck they say, they cut that country off, that motherfucker starve to death. If you get to tripping, they got some shit to blow out your back from where they stay at. Alright, so understand what that scripture means when it say we stand in the temple and play God. You live in it right now. That's a sign, because over the years your faculties have diminished. You're not able to go into the inner world to make comparison between the inner and outer. So now they have to write shit down on the outside to make you know what's going on the inside. Because your inside vision is dead because of aging. So you ain't got the pineal to see the inner world no more. That shit's dark to you. So now the shit happening on the outside, you can't read it. So they have to write the shit that the masters, the CBD priests, the Igbo and CBD priests, which you call the Gnostics, have to write the shit down. And they tell you, when you see this shit, it's time for you to start phasing out for real. And they tell you that when you don't phase out, there's going to be plagues that's going to force you out. The reason it's going to force you out because, first of all, the primary reason you come in here is to let the shit be built on you so that when you leave, it'll crash it. So, Atlas volunteered its back so that the world could be built on its back so that it could drop the world and break it like a glass. This shit I'm telling you, motherfuckers, man, I want you, yo. Anyway, so another good symbol is Christ. So the soul of the Titan is also represented as Christ, and going through the 12 stations of the cross is this titanic soul system being born at different zodiac signs, just bouncing around zodiac signs like a hamster on a wheel in the system, and suffering in the physical world, which you call hell, or the heliocentric system. Helios, hell. Earth, is hell. So the plan was how we get this titanic spirit to do its job, because they don't forgot. So they write a program. So when you get carried away here due to the glamour, and you age and your inner world access is cut off, and now you think you the shit down here, you got all the superpowers, you building all this shit, and then you lose that, and you fucking forgot who you is. They write a fail-safe program that's gonna make you leave by force. That's what you see, colonialism. And I'm trying to get you people to understand, because if you don't understand what's really going on, you're gonna be caught up in traps you don't know. That's the third topic that we're gonna discuss. You're going to be caught up. They're going to use your pain and reaction to shit happening in the illusion to deepen you in the illusion and entrap you even more. Your own pain. All right? So you have to reconcile the opposites and know that it's your soul doing all this shit, regardless of how brutal and terrible it is. Is a part of your soul. There's nothing outside of you. All these motherfuckers you see is inside of us doing something that we allowed on the level. You have to understand why. Don't just react to it. Ask yourself why we lost our powers to these people at the time that it was only 30% of the population that was alive. You got to understand, when colonialism happened and when all this shit happened, around the 13th, 14th century, that's when shit really started getting bad. Something called a bubonic plague that affected Europe and the Middle East, mainly Europe, and it was called a Black Death, and 70% of Europeans died. So by the time they got to Africa, it was only 30% of a sickly population. So tell me how it was that 30% of a sickly population was able to overpower you to this day. Can you explain that logically? It's not just weapons, and it's definitely not population. So you have to understand magic. You have to understand the principles that were wrote down for you. And when a motherfucker break the shit down, in layman's terms, appreciate that shit, because you can't find that shit nowhere else, B. I'm trying to tell you. I don't give a fuck where you go on YouTube, how super the motherfucker is. You feel me? So, for the gene pool agent and death, that's the reality. For the individual death, I already gave you the concept. For the 9 lives. So 8 is the limit of your program running. By the 9th one, you get restarted as a child in the system. That's like Christ bouncing around the fucking, being the passion of Christ, being tortured along the 12 stations of the cross. That's your soul bouncing around with each birth. Each time you get born and you forget your previous life, you have to start all over again and suffer and build, and you forget. That's Christ going through the stations of the cross, or the zodiac. That's the soul going in Helios, bouncing around in Helios. However, when it volunteer, because Christ never fought the people off. So your resurrection is a voluntary process, just like the Exodus is a voluntary process. You have to leave voluntarily. Nimrod was a violent. These are the same thing. They're just using different mythology to explain the same thing about you. You Africans, nobody else. And when I say Africans, I want you to know it's just melanated people. You could be from Australia, India, whatever. Ultimately the whole world is the same. Okay, so everything's working to one end. Honestly, as much as you think is divided, trust me, the program working perfectly. It's just that in the short term, we want to have a good life and not suffer too much. But ultimately, it's going to happen. You're going to be out of here. That's your job. And the time has come to do it as Africans. And when it's time to do it, you're not going to want to do it. So a fail-safe program was wrote to force you to do it. So what these motherfuckers is going to do is that they're going to, the same way they beat the fuck out of Christ, tortured him and everything, he finally died on the cross. So Christ dying on the cross is the terrestrial world, which is the physical world, north, south, east, west. The Christ dying on the cross is your soul giving up this world voluntarily, not committing suicide, like a lot of people tend to misunderstand the concept. It's from negative procreation, which is Lilith or Murdoch. When they say Lilith, Murdoch is killing kids, that's just it's the same way as calling the Titans demons. They just paint the shit bad so you don't understand the concept. And because when you leave, their world is going to crash. They don't want that. So they take the shit out of the tree of life. They paint the demons, the higher spirits, call them demons, because they don't want you to go there. It's like in the Planet of the Apes, they told the motherfuckers, don't go over there, because when you go over there, you're going to see the truth about your world. You feel me? So when it gets to that point, when what the program is that when you refuse to leave, the brutality of the world is going to make the world so unlivable for you that you will just be like, you know what, it's not even worth like bringing kids into this shit. Like, it's going to be so fucked up. You think it's bad now. This is just, it ain't nothing. Trust me. All this corona shit and all this shit you see happening is going to be on your necks, on you niggas' necks. Everything's going to come down to you. It's going to get so bad that motherfuckers going to be eating you motherfuckers for food, because there ain't not going to be no food no more. Because the sun going to be blocked. And the fruits and shit going to stop growing. And the only way they're going to get ultraviolet matter is from you motherfuckers. Because you motherfuckers going to be food at some point in the future. That's a reality on this world. If you refuse to leave, they turn up the heat gradually even more. It's the system doing it. So the brutality level is going to get even worse as time goes on, until finally it'll occur to you that, yo, we the ones bringing ourselves down here. Ain't nobody else creating us down here. We voluntarily bring ourselves down in a situation we don't like. So let's stop doing it. And once you get to that realization, that's gnosis. That's your head working. So that's why Christ was crucified where? Golgotha, at the skull. Or gnosis. Alright? So that's the metaphysical concept of death from a physical point and from a personal point, and also as death as it applies to a gene pool. I'm going to look through, see if anybody got questions. Nicolette said, it has to still be by your free will. They just make it unlivable, so you choose to go to the new world. Then they lock you in. Exactly. So they got a world for you, just in case you niggas ain't realized. They won't trap you, because the system is self-aware at this point. It don't want to die. It's like the Smiths didn't want to die. Neo realized. Go watch them. Yo, son. They put this shit in the third Matrix. How did Neo die? Neo's fighting the motherfucker. All of a sudden he realized, yo, all these things I'm fighting, this shit is just a reflection of me. I'm fighting my own reflection. Remember what the oracle told him? That the Smith is you. Remember? So that's a little clues she was giving Neo of how to do it. So Neo stopped fighting. Then as soon as he stopped fighting, Smith got afraid. As long as he was fighting Smith, Smith was cool because he knew he was ignorant. That's like you niggas get mad about colonialism and shit. As long as you niggas on that shit, they know you still want to be here. The moment you stop and don't give a fuck, you be like, let's close the pussy gate. We can fuck, but you ain't nobody coming here. You motherfuckers, your population shrink by like half in the world. Yo, fear will grip the fuck out of them. That's your power. Then they're going to start offering you all types of shit, reparations. They're going to open their vaults and give you all the money for free just to stay here. Because when the last one of you leave, this motherfucker will not even exist no more. And this knowledge is what's called the Heru in Egyptian text. When they say Heru defeated itself from the evil world. Remember, Heru didn't have a human head. It had a bird's head. A bird's head, or when you see feather. Remember, a lot of you that's been following the teachings. Whenever you see a bird or feather, it means mind or mental or consciousness. Doesn't mean an actual person. So a person with a bird's head means a certain consciousness that come upon a people. So that would, if you was to go in a dream and your higher self was to tell you that shit, that's how it'll probably tell you in a dream. It's going to show you yourself with a bird's head, a hawk's head. You figure it out when you wake up. So that's how they wrote, ancient Africans, they wrote in dream language, which you call hieroglyphics or zoo types. In zootypical language. Right? So when Neo stopped fighting Smith got scared. Then Smith was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's like, what did Neo say? At the very end. So Neo stuck his hand in Smith's chest. So either way, Neo became another Smith. And that means that when he blew himself up, all the other Smiths blew up. What that mean? When the Titans take themselves out, the world disappear. When I showed you the tree of life, I showed you they took out the 10th and 11th sphere because that represented a race of people. And if they put that shit in that tree of life, it's going to show the race of people the control that the world that they living in is coming out of them. And if they remove themselves, that world will be removed. So they removed that shit from the diagram that they put around the world and made you think the shit coming straight out from the 9th sphere to the 10th sphere. But it's actually 12. It goes from 9, 10, 11, then 12. The world, which is 12, is coming out of 10, 11. If Mr. 10, 11 and Mrs. 11 remove themselves, 12 will automatically disappear too. So that's why they took that shit out from the one that they spread around the world. But the nigga 07 made that shit clear for no cause. You know how much that information costs? That knowledge? The power you have as Titans in your exit. That's it. That's all that's left. You don't have no power. There's nothing you could do in this physical world no more. You will never rule this realm again. It's like an old man that's 105 years old thinking he can go back and get the boxing. Okay? It's like when you see Muhammad Ali or Joe Frazier when them motherfuckers like 70. You want to go put him back in the ring to box young Mike Tyson. You know what's going to happen to him? That's how you niggas look trying to fuck with these niggas, these new races. These motherfuckers is new. Motherfuckers is not even up to 10,000 years old. You niggas been here for billions of years. You're old as fuck. Your old age is caught up with you. The more you stay here, The kids you gonna have, the 50 years from now, you really feel bad for the motherfuckers. And they know it. They ain't gonna tell you. Motherfuckers mad at when you niggas finally leave this realm completely and you look back, you will thank their brutality. You be like, God damn, if these motherfuckers was, you motherfuckers be like, man, I wish they was meaner so we could have figured this shit out early. Then you niggas will actually save their ass, their souls. That's so advanced, it should have fucking damn near make you piss your pants. Think about that shit. You feel me?